Record. Hello, this is Angel Talk with Brenda Hardwick, and this is the January 2026 episode. My guest today is Janine Bolan, and she is a healer extraordinaire and has many different irons in the fire as far as what she's doing, when she's doing. She's also a fellow author, and she's one of my favorite people. I will have all of her contact information in the links for the description for the podcast. So if you want to get a hold of her and you want to see her, you can contact her that way. The Angel Talk podcast, this is going on the fourth year. Ooh. And now that I've tackled my fear of AI, I will find out how to move all of the audio pieces over to YouTube so you can listen to them if you would like. Our topic for today, celebration aside, what's your 2026 game plan? What's your game plan? I don't talk about what are those resolutions, because nobody keeps those. I don't talk about big whole year plans. I want to know what it is you've got planned. And are you talking to your angels to help get it done? Because they're waiting. They're always waiting. Janine, for me, what this means is it has been a very different avenue for me this year because of so much that happened last year around me and both for me and to me. And so I want to start off with your viewpoint on this because I know that you had a rough year as well.
I think if I may be so bold, I'm going to be very bold right now and say I think if you were human on the planet, it was a tough year last year,
I agree.
especially if you're listening to this podcast, because that means you're of a certain frequency, you're attracted to Brenda. If you're attracted to this podcast, please keep listening to Brenda. She knows what she's doing. She and I have known each other since 2018 when we converged on a Sacred Way Fair together in Colorado, and we have been dear, dear friends ever since because we have so many connections, not only with the way that we like to help people, but the way we are connected and in alignment for ourselves. And then we like to share that with you because we know you are either in alignment right now and you're just seeking confirmation from Brenda. Hey, am I crazy? I get that a lot. Um, but the biggest thing is what we're going to talk about today is why certain things don't work for you, why other people seem to get success and it's just not clicking for you. And we're going to talk about why that is and how we can help you move forward. Is that all right with you, Brenda? I don't want
That
to
is
lead us any
perfect.
way we're not supposed to go. Okay.
No.
All right. I'd just like to double check in with the angel reader. That is not my skill set, by the way. Ain't talking to angels, not my skill set. So I like to stay in Brenda's lane. I'm on her show. Okay, here we go. This is why certain things don't work for you. We're going to start first with something very simple. The breath. Oh, don't worry. Don't panic. Don't roll your eyes. I see you out there. You're rolling your eyes. Um, the breath work I'm going to talk about is why some of it doesn't work for certain types of people. And I'm sharing this with you, even if breath work works really well for you, as you share it with other people, please understand you're going to have about 20% of the population it is not going to resonate with. And this is why. If they were quite young and they had a life or death experience of some sort, their vagal nerve is operating a little differently. Now, I could go into the neuroscience. I'm a scientist, but we're going to bypass that today. You can go look it up from other, like people who have PhDs in the thing. But when that is activated, they cannot take that deep breath. So much of our self-care and our yoga and other sorts of healers always say, all right, everybody, take a deep breath. And they say, breathe in really, really deep. And that never worked for me or a lot of other people. And we thought something was wrong with us because we could not do that. Guess what? All you have to do is like, and if that doesn't work for you when you're sharing, just say, exhale, go, and then breathe in, once or twice or whatever breath work you're sharing in the moment. Just realize 20 to, I've heard numbers up to 35%. I don't have data on that one, but I do know at least 20% cannot take that deep inhale when you ask them to. They have to exhale first. That is so important when you're trying to get somebody in alignment. You know this yourself. You've seen it. And Brenda talks about this quite frequently that when you want to get into alignment, the very first thing you want to do is center into your body. How do you do that? You don't think it. You get your body to encourage you and they breathe. Breathe, people, breathe. Anything else you want to add to that, Brenda, before I go on to the next one?
This, I had never thought about this until I heard you speak about it. And I think you're very right. I think it's why a lot of times people will say, well, I can't meditate. I don't meditate. And it's because you're always taught to take a deep breath first. But if you exhale first, it makes such a big difference. And it's because when you've had a life or death situation, and it doesn't matter if it was something that was very quick or if it was something that um, crept up on you slowly, like an illness, okay? You're holding your breath. So taking a deep breath in doesn't work. You need to exhale that breath out first. And it makes so much difference. It just does. Um, okay, now back
All
to
right. All
yes.
right. All right. Next point. Like I said, I got to check in with Brenda. She's the angel reader, not me. That's what I love about her. Okay. Next thing. You probably have tried resolutions. They didn't work. Then you tried goal setting. Boy, did that fall apart quickly. All right. Let's not talk about that, shall we? What is your game plan? And then you're like, oh gosh, no, not this again. Right? Again, I understand why you're rolling your eyes. I've been there. We're not going to talk about it in that way. When Brenda and I were talking about what we should help people with for 2026, it was really to confirm for you guys what you already know. You already know this stuff. You already know what doesn't work. Give me something that works. And so we're not going to give you milk. We're going to give you meat, as we like to say to our Judaic brothers and sisters. We're going to give you some meat here. All right. This is the meat. Guess what? You're operating in a situation where you're only using your brain. You're using your mind, you're using logic. And you're like, yes, but I'm very heart-based. I'm very service-oriented. I want to help people. I want to be an uplifter. And I'm like, bravo, you're in the exact right place. We're going to talk to you about why these things are not working. And this is very core. One of the things Brenda is going to let me share with you is that I'm a first chakra healer, people. She's the angel reader. I bring you down to first chakra. We're going to do with core stuff. I mean, Brenda can too, but we're going to get real and raw. Here you go. First chakra, what do we have? Sex, drugs, rock and roll. That's what we are at the first
Yeah.
chakra. It's all about I do with money though. Okay, so not very good with the rock and roll. And there's much more qualified people to help you with sex. So I will help you with the other taboo object, and that is money. All right. So one of the things that makes it difficult for us as very heart-based, heart-centered people, uplifters, we even self-identify as that. One of the challenges that we have is we're fighting against our inner child. I know. Roll your eyes, roll your eyes. I can feel it. I mean it in a very different way. I'm talking about the one that is trying to help you remember how to imagine. I'm talking to the one that just gets such joy when you walk outside and you see the dew on the grass and all you see are diamonds. And you're like, I'm the wealthiest person on the planet. I'm talking about that one. I'm not talking about the trauma-filled one. I'm talking about the one who has been trying to whisper to you since you left them aside when you joined kindergarten and you learned, oh my gosh, there are people out there who are not very nice. Okay. You may have learned it before kindergarten, but usually in when I'm talking to the United States or I'm talking to England or Canada, it's kindergarten that they get that first whammo. Let's talk about
Same in
that inner
Portugal.
child.
That's the same here too. In
Oh, is
Portugal,
it?
it's the
Okay,
same.
thank you
Oh,
very
yes.
much. I have no experience, so I try not to speak about things I don't know. Okay, so that inner child, and if you want, you can call it your little genius, if that helps you get sidestep some of the triggers that inner child may give you. Let's say inner genius, shall we? So your inner genius that has been whispering to you since a long, long time ago, if you're my age, what you want to do for that inner genius is remember what their world is like. And if you want, for those of you who like to take notes when you listen to Brenda, go ahead and put a triangle on your paper. And that triangle is literally, this is the world of your inner genius. And believe it or not, this is why goal setting doesn't work, resolutions don't work, other people's systems don't work. Why do they not work for me? They work for them. You watch them have incredible success. Well, it's because you're not listening to your own inner genius. Okay? So, what is this world that we're talking about? The inner genius only cares about three things. So, at the very, very bottom of that triangle that you did, that foundation, guess what it is asking? Am I going to be okay? They do not ask, inner geniuses do not ask, am I going to be safe? That's an adult word. They don't know that one. They say, am I going to be okay? You can be standing outside a burning building with a 5-year-old, and that's their house that has gone up in flames. They will turn to, yes, I've had this experience. They will turn to an adult and go, are we going to be okay? And the adult says, you know what? It's just a house. We're okay. And that child will go and start playing in the ashes of his own house because he's going to be okay. That's the world we're talking about. Okay. What is on the other side? So, one of the slanty sides of, as I like to say, of your triangle, um, you want to put rewards. What do I have to do, says the little genius, to make the people around me happy enough that I get what I want? Now, I don't know about you, but I was a candy driven child. I lived for rock candy, licorice. I mean, a lot of kids don't like licorice. I ate it up. I got everybody's black jelly beans. I love them. So, so I was a candy-driven kid. Okay. I wasn't worried about money. I just wanted to make sure I could get what I needed. And what I needed was candy because that meant life was super sweet and life was going to be okay. It solved two of my things because if I had candy, it means we were celebrating and it meant everything was okay. It gave me two sides of my triangle at once. Now, what's the third thing that inner genius is asking for? The inner genius is white. On the third side of your triangle, how do I make and how do I keep friends? How do I stay in the reward and safety side and make and maintain friends? All right. So those are your three things, your inner genius. That's all it cares about. And when you think about it for a while, you kind of go, wait a minute, I think they may be onto something. The more I have lived my life with that triangle, it is amazing. And I view it, my inner genius, I don't know why, is 6. I don't know why it's 6 years old, but it is. Some people have said their inner genius is 3. I've even had one client who said their inner genius is 6 months, 6 months. And I went, 6 months. I said, do you have a memory of 6 months? They had a very strong memory of 6 months that defined their reward side of their triangle. They could remember that event. So, as you're working with people, because I know Brenda is not the only healer on this podcast, and I know a lot of you listen for confirmation, please pass this around. What Brenda has to offer with this podcast, not only does she bring on guests who know what they're talking about, thank you very much, Brenda, as I do self-aggrandizing right there. Notice that, patting my inner genius on the back, giving it a reward, saying, good job. Thank you for sharing this with adult Janine because she was an idiot for 20 years because she wasn't listening to her inner genius. But now that I listen to it, it's amazing how much better my life is, even though when I have a rock and roll year like 2025. Anything you care to share with us, Brenda?
So, yeah, a couple of things. First of all, Janine is absolutely right. And I love the term inner genius rather than inner child. Because inner child, most people, the first thing they think of is the first trauma that they remember. That's not our focus. We don't want to focus on the trauma. Yeah, we know you had it. We've all had them, but that's not the important piece. The inner genius and the triangle she's talking about is so real. And I will tell you, I am seeing it in my granddaughters. They just turned 7 here in Portugal. They went to preschool and then kindergarten and then Form 1. They're in Form 2 now. And I am seeing this in them. The inner genius is forming. I think theirs is going to be somewhere in 6, 7. Yeah, and I don't mean that by that generational 6, 7. Yeah, I hear that all the time. What does that mean? I don't know. 6, 7. Okay,
Oh, it doesn't have a meaning.
I
If you just
know.
want, yeah, I
Yeah,
know. Just for those of you who may be like, wow, Brenda's really hip with the kids. It, she is.
yeah. Living with 7-year-olds, you can call it hip. Most of the time, I think grandma's just lost, but they ask some really good questions because their angels are working me too. Um, but mine was probably set at the age of 4. Um, and it's because of many things that I remember from that age that I can reflect on now and know. Um, there are so many things that are set when you are a child and that carry forward, and you have no idea where that came from. The rewards, make and keep friends, and be okay. That is the amazing triangle. And I see it forming in the girls. And we do the best we can to try and help them balance those. But as grown-ups, we get lost in the things in the 3D. And especially when you're dealing with little ones who tend to operate on a higher dimension than 3D, I will tell you sometimes I don't know how to come at them because they're up here when I'm trying to do down here because this is what's important right now. Yeah, our household is interesting and the angels are kept very busy in what we ask them and how we ask them to do things. When you address and look at what your triangle parts are, don't forget them. All they need is for you to ask. And if you don't know where you stand on those 3, they can help you spot it. But I will wager that most of you can figure it out without asking for help. Back at
So, with the inner genius, what this is a neurocognitive exercise that I learned from a scientist. And if any of you listen to Chase Hughes, he's a little tough for healers to listen to. So, I don't encourage you, if you're very soft and sensitive, not to listen to his stuff. It's very heavy, very military. But what he did, Chase Hughes came up with this child's triangle. I want to give credit where credit is due. I learned it from him because they kind of use it in certain brainwashing techniques. And what he did when he left the Army, I'm sorry, forgive me, Navy, when he left the Navy and stopped that work, he started using it to look within and became quite the psychic and mystic himself, although he will never use those words because he's still training people how to awaken to their own personal identity rather than taking on the identity that has been given to them by others. Sound familiar?
you.
So, as I learn these various techniques, I say to my beautiful healers who are quite sensitive and very good at what they do, especially if you're listening to this podcast, I don't know what it is you do, but I know you do it well. I just wanted to let you know that these techniques are things that we have done and used. They're now starting to be kicked up in the neurocognitive arena in science. They now understand them and they're using secular language. But the thing is, you're on the right track. And so I just want you to realize you're talking to your subconscious. And then if you can't get answers from your subconscious, when you move in the direction that Brenda talks about and you move to your angelics, realize the angelics will guide you back into your subconscious. Take them with you. down into that subconscious brainstem so that they can guide you to where the inner genius is residing and what that fear may be or what that joy may be. The joy may be so intense, you've forgotten how to feel that. And that's why it will feel alien, like it's not a part of you, or it may be a part of that grief. I don't know. I do know it's going to be something amazing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. To swing back, um, as far as putting together your game plan for this year, what I have done, okay, is focus on me because last year was hard and it was not easy. And I will tell you, from a writer and author standpoint, there are so many things coming at me that, I look at the emails and people asking me, do you want to do this? Can we have you do this? Can you have, and I'm like, some of them I've answered back and said, yes, I'm interested. And then I think, oh my God, that means I'm going to have to work. I don't want to work. So I have to be careful and I have to choose because if it's one that I really don't want to do, I don't have to. And if I don't want to, I'm not going to. My focus is me. I want to make sure I feel good about it. I want to make sure I'm happy to do it. And I want to make sure I'm going to get part of my triangle out of it. I've briefly talked about we're opening a restaurant. We're opening on Tuesday. It means that grandma is going to be in charge of the twins a lot of the time. I have been cooking dinner every night for 2 weeks. Well, 3 weeks. I forgot what that was like. I haven't done it since James and his brother were little. I don't remember how to do that. So I've had to learn all over again. It's a lot. But you know what? It's going to be rewarded because once it gets up and running and we get the new routine down, I know I won't have to do it every night. I know this. I see that. I picture that. I focus on that. It will be. What is your game plan look like, Janine?
I would like to piggyback on what you said for a moment, and this is back to neuroscience. They've done studies, and I could quote the study and everything. I won't do that here, but there is a study that was done where they had people imagine drinking a hot cup of coffee while they had an MRI running. And they would imagine what it was like to have that hot liquid move into their mouth, what it tasted like as they swallowed, as it went down their throat and warmed their stomach. And they just really wanted them to immerse themselves in all the sensory aspects of drinking that cup of coffee. That was the imagination. Then they actually gave them a cup of coffee and had them drink it. Your brain cannot tell the difference if you're imagining it or if you're actually experiencing it. Now, just take a moment and think about the huge cognitive load that your brain is using to make a shortcut. And your inner genius wants to have you go out and do something. You don't have to do it immediately. You can visualize it. You have the rest of your life. I think sometimes we get a little too in a rush, right? So the thing is, go out and start visualizing first. What does it look like? What does it taste? How do I smell it? What am I wearing? Like really immerse yourself. And I know people are like, oh my God, if someone else walks me through a visualization, I'm going to scream. I'm like, hello, if your brain cannot tell the difference, how best to change yourself into the person you're becoming rather than being the person everyone else wanted you to be. The choice is yours. You're gonna change, period. Do you want to direct it? Do you want to be the author of your own life? Do you want to be your own architect? Right? That's my word for this year. I'm my own architect. Okay. So I know you have the ability to do this. And even for people who tell me, oh, I'm lazy, blah, 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 I'm like, great. I love working with lazy people. Let me tell you why. Because your brain can't tell the difference. Lay in your easy chair, have your favorite hot, you know, blanket on you or whatever, and you just sit there and visualize what you want to do. And then when you get up from that, you're going to have a prompting, a push, a nudge, whatever you call it. You're going to feel motivated to go do something stupid, stupid to the old you. And you're like, why am I sitting there doing the laundry? The next thing you know, somebody's calling you. It's a good thing you did the laundry because you're going to need that outfit that you just washed because you're headed out somewhere to meet a bunch of people so that you can start that new life. That's how crazy that works.
This is manifestation. This is manifestation. It's how it works. You see that it is, and it is. This is what? Spirituality, your connection with your angels, your guides, your inner self, your higher self. This is what it's all about. You have the control. You have the control. You can do it. Janine, I want to thank you for spending this time with me. This has been so cool and so wonderful. I'm happy to share this with my audience. Um, we will be here next month, the fourth Wednesday. My guest is Brandy Pamel, who is a healer, and she uses sound and Reiki and several other things. I think you will be interested in what she has to say. Our topic for next month is keeping your joy flowing. You pay attention to that inner genius triangle, your joy is going to flood. You've got this. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you, Janine, for joining.
Thank you.
Namaste.